I'm in the shop working on Nick's guitar. If you don't know what I mean by Nick's guitar, you can watch the last video I posted called The Story of Nick's Guitar. But anyway, I was thinning out a piece of catalash for the saddle so that it fits my 3/32 of an inch saddle slot. And I realized how much I don't enjoy this process. And maybe some of you can relate to this. The process involves taking the blank of bone or wood or whatever material you're using, holding it kind of like this, and sanding in little circles like this, and then stopping to check the fit until it just barely fits. Well, depending on how close you cut your blank and how dense your material is, you might be thicknessing in this fashion for a while. Hence the reason why I don't like doing it. Anyway, I threw together this super simple jig. It's just a scrap of 2x4 that I sanded the one face of it dead flat, and then I drilled 3 holes for these screws right here so that your saddle blank can just rest against those 3 screws. And then this wheel here I have, so depending on how large your saddle blank is, you can turn this wheel until it firmly registers against the side of it, and that holds the whole thing in place so that you can take a plane. In this case, because it's wood, you wouldn't be using a plane on a bone blank, and you can see it's really chattering in that direction, so I'll flip it around. And there we get a nice smooth cut, and it's just way more enjoyable of a process, way quicker than doing those tiny little circles on a piece of sandpaper. Now, if you're using bone, which most people are, so I understand that, I would just add, in fact I plan on adding this anyway, add the second wheel down here. I call this the wheel. Down here so that it keeps it, if you're taking a sanding block and doing this, it's going to come out the back. So if you add that second wheel, something to hold it on the bottom, you can then sand just like that. And that's another way of thicknessing using the jig. But either way, it was super simple. Threw it together in literally 5 minutes. And you could use dowels for these, make it look a little nicer, but I actually like this because you can turn these screws, and let's say you are thicknessing a larger piece of wood, but you know it's still kind of uncomfortable. It's still kind of too small to thickness by other means. You can raise these up and put that larger piece of wood in there. These, by the way, these things that I'm calling the wheel, you probably recognize this if you've built a guitar before. If you're on your first guitar, you probably don't. But this is the cutout from when you cut out the sound hole for your guitar. A lot of people save them as some sort of memento, but it's all scrap wood to me. I cut them up and I make jigs out of them. They also make nice coasters.